Today we're catching some sun and waves with Anslim, a QHS member whose life is as vibrant and refreshing as a seaside breeze. What currents brought him to the sunny shores of the quantum shift? Let's surf behind the scenes to see the waves he's been riding.
My name is Anslim. I immigrated to the US in 1983 with my family and settled in Northern California. While earning my living here, took time to understand American politics, media, social systems, and medical culture. My health was good for a long time, besides asthma, which I had suffered since my late teen years. With the beginning of COVID episode, my understanding of all that I was watching over the years took me to search for truth in all these areas. I had to do that for the future of my family and for the love I have for the US and for the world. I had a stroke in 2017. When I heard of quantum healing systems, I immediately joined them to protect my health and eventually to help others. I was born and brought up in Goa, then a Portuguese colony on the west coast of India. The village that I came from was named Naikamado. An elder in that village confirmed to me that our last name was Naik way back when, which signified that my ancestors were Hindus before converting to Catholicism. In Goa, I grew up speaking a local dialect called Konkani. My mom and dad had only basic primary education in Portuguese language. I completed my early English education in a boarding school in Goa, and then our family moved to Bombay, now called Mumbai. I was the oldest of 4 children, a sister and 2 brothers. By the time I completed my secondary education and joined college in 1962, the Portuguese had to leave Goa. Goa then became a separate state in India. I graduated in 1966 from St. Xavier's College in Bombay in economics and politics. My dad worked as a chef on passenger and cargo ships sailing to different ports of the world. He sailed to the Far East and Australia, but later on he worked on passenger ships traveling to the Persian Gulf so that he could see his family more often in Bombay. My dad passed in 1970 and I was the only earning member in the family. He had a stroke and was transferred to ER. I visited him in the hospital that evening and our eyes met. He seemed to be telling me to take care of the family. And by the grace of God, I did. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, took care of the family while Dad was away sailing, and took care of us very well over the years. She was able to visit us in the States when our children were young. When our family visited my mother in Bombay in 2001, we had to extend our stay for another week due to 9/11 incident. My mom passed in 2002. My wife and I have been married for over 52 years and have 2 children, son and a daughter. After a few years' employment in Bombay, I was offered a job in Bahrain in the Arabian Gulf. We lived in Bahrain for almost 8 years. My sister-in-law's family sponsored us to immigrate to the US, and within 3 years we were here. We settled in Northern California, where my wife's sister and brother's family lived with their families. We were part of a fairly large Goan community and a church community, and never felt alone. Our children had their education in the US and now have their own families. I use my time to update myself with all that is going on here in the US and in the world. I trusted the conservative media for a long time, but listening to Rush, Hannity, and Mark Levin, etc., it was a training that I needed. I also shared the information I gathered with friends in my email groups. I had hernia surgery in 1999 and cataract in 2006. I learned that I had arthritis when an X-ray was taken of my right hand in 2014. In 2017, I had a moderate stroke and my right side was affected. I stayed in the hospital for a week's intensive therapy and continued the therapy for a couple of months when I was brought home. I had good support and recovery care, which helped me much. With the departure of Rush Limbaugh, I had to look for others who were exposing the truth and learn from them. But with the coming of COVID and everyone trying to enforce the government mandates, the religious and family members included, it was time for me to resist all pressures and not to comply. The truth was coming out, but only those who were open could hear it. There were many exponents of the truth, some of them doctors, who all did it while facing the risk of losing their own livelihood. I also listened to Charlie Ward, Simon Parks, as well as the Restored Republic website, which were very informative. Finally came Ron with his informative articles, and he shared the news about quantum healing system. I learned a lot from his articles. Upon hearing about QHS, I immediately joined them. I now realized that some direction was coming as to where the world was heading. With my health not in a great state and my ER visits getting far too often, health was becoming my priority. Joining QHS in mid-April 2023 helped me stabilize my health, as I benefited from one black device and two V6 QTWE devices. I still have a few minor issues like arthritis, leg cramps, restless leg syndrome at night, and waking up a few times at night to use the restroom. I'm looking forward to get rid of these issues when it is my turn to visit the QArc and have the do-over in the near future. Post QArc visit and the coming of redemption/RV, I will spend my time to support and help establish QHS healing centers. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story. Thank you.
Join us on the Prequel, where every story matters and every voice is heard. Because here at QHS, we're all about healing, learning, and growing together.